The future of financial advice does, I know, seem a rather pompous title. Um, but the way our business slash profession slash industry works and is working has changed maybe more in the last 5 years than the last 40 or so. Looking back over those 40, well, those giving advice were divided into salesmen from the life insurance companies and brokers, not working for or part of those big companies, but still pay commission for recommending their products. I would say the salesmen were divided pretty much 50-50 into those employed by the big companies like the Pru, Pearl, London and Manchester, Imperial Life, most pretty much all names of the past as the Pru now styles itself as M&G. If they had a salary, it was negligible. Most of their income came from selling, in many cases door to door, in what was called the industrial branch of those big companies, whose origin was in the factories and the terrace streets collecting pennies a week in premiums from the workers. The self-employed came a little later. The Hambro Life, Allied Dunbars, Hill Samuels and many others now long disappeared, with St James's Place, the love child of Allied Dunbar, as the only pure survivor, I'd say. It's as part of that self-employed model that many of us started our careers. A couple of weeks training, then on your own to find clients amongst your friends, former colleagues, or from the phone book or yellow pages. I know, kids ask your parents, etc. If you're a regular reader, you'll remember that I talked last week about the rise and fall of the big banks and building societies, armies of hard-selling advisors, which was another iteration of it all. The financial crash and various scandals, mortgage endowments, pension transfers from the 80s and 90s saw off those big sales forces, and what many should not be calling the advice landscape became rather more spread to different horizons, not to coin too much of a phrase. We all became much more investment and pensions advisors rather than life insurance and savings plan salespeople. It's nearly 15 years now since the regulator, yes, quite rightly, decided that we needed more than a couple of weeks training and in some cases years of dubious experience to be able to advise, and minimum qualifications were introduced. But at its core, that old sink or swim self-employed model persists. Many of those now running financial advisory businesses think that, well, never did us any harm. Let them go out and find their own clients, or we'll give them a few leads and let them get on with it. I've heard many sent to boarding school in their youth forgetting the misery as they send their own children off. Made a man of me, blah, blah, blah. Same thing, really. That way of doing things in our business is thankfully changing, and has changed and has to change if we want to continue and want to be taken seriously as a profession, which we should be. There are now less than a quarter of the numbers doing what we do compared with those of 30 or so years ago. Over half the population who are likely to need advice have an advisor, half don't. Now, we need younger advisors. They're not likely to slog through exams, to be given a phone book and told to get on with it. A couple of years ago, Philip James Financial Services had 5 self-employed advisors, including me, all looking after and finding their own clients. Now, I'm still here as the boss and founder of what is now Philip James Independent Financial Advice. And we have 2, I hope happily, employed, very well qualified and still studying, much younger than me, advisors, whose role is to love and look after all of our existing clients and those whom I'm proud to say still come to us wanting help and advice. those younger advisors' job is to do a good job for the clients that they do look after, not to sell them products to make a living as once would have been the case. We're looking for another, and our back office team of 3 will expand to 4 in the new year. Okay, it's taken many years to get to where we are, but that's another reason I'm still here and wanting to expand into the future of financial advice, of which I still very much want to be a part.